Let's get real for a second. We aren't here to read you a scouting manual. We're here to tell you who's actually going to move the needle on Sundays. The conversation has to start with Josiah Trotter, coming in at number 5. This kid is a throwback. A few months back, the consensus was he'd stay in school. He was just a redshirt sophomore, but he played himself into this class. He's been a top 50 guy on our board since the season wrapped, and honestly, we were just hoping he'd declare. He's 6'2", 237, and he just plays heavy. He anchors against the run like a 10-year vet. PFF actually backed that up, ranking him 6th nationally against the run this past season, with a massive 90.7 grade in 84 total tackles. Now, he's young, he's going to get manipulated by play action, and his man coverage is a work in progress. But you're drafting the processing and the power here. You take him on day 2, let him develop, and in 3 years, you've got the heart of your defense. Before we move on to our number 4, make sure you hit that subscribe button real quick. We're going through the elite tier first, but you'll want to stick around because after we crown our number 1, we're rounding out the full top 10 with 5 massive honorable mentions that could easily jump into the first round by the time we hit the podium in Pittsburgh. If you want a guy who's already playing with pro-level discipline, you move up to number 4 with C.J. Allen out of Georgia. The Bulldogs keep churning these guys out. They might not always be the flashiest athletes on the field, but they are consistently the most prepared. CJ is a leader, plain and simple. He's 6'1", which is a bit sawed off for some scouts, but he plays much bigger because he's a brick wall in the run game. He diagnoses plays before the quarterback even finishes his drop. His explosive power is real, too. Back in high school, he was a track standout, running an 11.16 in the 100-meter. He's got some stiffness in his lower half that'll get him into trouble in man coverage, but he's a first-round lock because he's one of the few guys in this class you can trust to run a defense on day 1. It was a coin flip between CJ and our number 3, Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. But Hill has the higher ceiling. He's 6'3", and even though he tipped the scales at nearly 250 pounds this season, he still moves like a safety. He's been a starter at Texas since he walked on campus, and he has evolved into a hard-hitting, high-volume blitzer. What stands out with Hill is the recovery speed. He takes these aggressive pursuit angles, and even if he gets caught, he's got the mental math to adjust and still find the ball. For the stat nerds, he's reportedly clocked in the low 4.4s, which is absurd for a guy with his frame. He finished 2025 as a second-team All-American and a first-team All-SEC pick, largely because he's one of the few guys in this class who can crowd the line of scrimmage to fake a blitz or play as a true off-ball linebacker. He just needs to stop being so grabby in coverage and trust his feet. But his 95% tackle success rate this year shows that once he gets his hands on you, the play is over. Now we're getting into the unicorn territory at number 2 with Sonny Styles. This guy is a different breed. He successfully made the transition from safety to linebacker without losing an ounce of that secondary range. He's 6'5", 243 pounds, and he's essentially a movable chess piece. He finished 2025 as a first-team All-American, and the stat that'll make you double-take is his efficiency. He only missed 2 tackles on nearly 700 defensive snaps all season. A true fact about Sonny is that he actually led the entire country in tackling efficiency for the first 10 games of the 2025 season, ending with a 92.7 PFF tackling grade. As for his draft stock, Styles is a projected mid-first-round pick, with the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Commanders emerging as the top 2 consensus landing spots. Most major gurus, including Field Yates and Bucky Brooks, have Styles locked in at number 12 to Dallas. The Cowboys view him as the ultimate versatile piece to stabilize the middle of their defense, while Washington is eyeing his elite coverage range to take over the leadership role in Dan Quinn's system now that Bobby Wagner is hitting free agency. But the clear number 1 in this class, and look, it is actually tough to say which Ohio State guy is the actual number 1 because they're both so elite, is Sonny's teammate Arvell Reese. While Styles is the high-floor leader, the consensus has us leaning Reese because the NFL ceiling is just through the roof. He's 6'4", 243 pounds, and he plays with a controlled aggression that's rare for his age. He finished 2025 as the Big Ten Linebacker of the Year with 69 tackles and 6.5 sacks. A true fact about Arvell is that despite his dominance, he's actually one of the youngest prospects in this class. He didn't even turn 21 until the very end of his junior season. Reese is a locked-in top 10 overall pick, and the New York Jets and the Tennessee Titans have emerged as the heavy consensus favorites, while the Jets are looking for a defensive cornerstone at number 2 overall, where he is currently mocked in the majority of major databases. The Titans have recently moved Reese to the top of their board at number 4. They see him as a Micah Parsons-style tone setter who can anchor their entire defensive rebuild, giving them a guy who can stick at off-ball linebacker but has even more long-term upside as a pure edge rusher. What makes this so historic is that we're likely looking at the first time in over a decade that one school sends 2 linebackers into the first round together. It's a rare iron sharpens iron situation where Styles brought the elite secondary-level processing and Reese brought the raw, game-wrecking power. Whether they end up as rivals in the AFC East or one of them heads to Dallas to be the next superstar in Big D, their connection as Buckeyes is what set the floor for this entire 2026 class. They aren't just the 2 best linebackers available, they're 2 halves of the same elite defensive philosophy that's about to take over the league. Now keep in mind that the gap between that top 5 and the rest of this class is razor thin. Scheme, fit, and draft capital are going to be the deciding factors for these next few guys who are snapping at their heels. To round out our top 10 honorable mentions, take Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. This man was a one-man wrecking crew in 2025. He finished 5th in Heisman voting, the highest for a linebacker in over a decade, and swept the Triple Crown of defense by winning the Butkus, Nagurski, and Lombardi awards. He led the nation with 7 forced fumbles and racked up 128 tackles. The draft buzz on him is a bit complicated. NFL scouts are worried his 6'1" frame and 4.6 speed won't scale to the pro level. But he completely dominated the Senior Bowl practices in Mobile last month, forcing fumbles and picking off passes like it was second nature. They see an elite college producer who even punched in 2 goal-line touchdowns last season, and after that Senior Bowl performance, more evaluators are viewing him as a legitimate Day 2 starter. Ultimately, his ceiling is going to depend entirely on where he lands and who picks him, because in the right system, he's a Pro Bowl-level chess piece. Then you've got Taurean York at A&M. He might be 5'10", but he was a standout at the East-West Shrine Bowl, with his coverage IQ earning a 90.6 PFF coverage grade this past season. Plus, we can't forget Harold Perkins at LSU. He is officially declared for the 2026 draft, but there's a fresh debate on whether he is actually a linebacker or a big nickel/dime safety, and that position uncertainty is impacting his stock, even with an elite 72.3 pass rush grade. Justin Jefferson at Bama is another playmaker who has clocked a not normal 22 miles per hour on the GPS at 227 pounds. He was a 15-game Ironman for the Tide this year, finishing with 85 tackles and a forced fumble. And finally, Aiden Fisher from Indiana. He was the first Hoosier linebacker ever to be named a first-team All-American, finishing 2025 with a massive 158 tackles that fueled Indiana's historic undefeated regular season and a national championship win over Miami. New scouting reports are highlighting his national championship floor, with analysts comparing him to high IQ green dot leaders.
When you talk about, the hardest positions in football, everybody wants to say quarterback, cornerback, and both of them respectively are really hard to play. But I think if you put both of them together, you're playing linebacker.
In the NFL, scenario is everything. If a team knows how to use a specialist like Perkins or a pure processor like Fisher, they'll look like steals on day 1. All eyes are going to be in Pittsburgh this April. The renderings for that draft campus on the North Shore look incredible, and the atmosphere between the rivers is going to be electric as these landing spots start to finalize. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll see you right after the NFL draft with our updated NFL IDP fantasy football rankings. If you enjoy the NFL IDP deep dives, do us a favor, hit that subscribe button real quick and drop a like to help the algorithm find more defensive draft junkies like us. Check out another video, Let us know in the comments what your board looks like. And as always, thanks for watching.
What your name mean to you? Your name don't mean to you. Dude,
Spider-Man does it again.
let's go!